Hello and welcome back to another video in my loot deck series. Today we're going to be diving into Scarlet Monastery. Now, as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of items I still need to pick up from Scarlet Monastery. I think, in fact, there's probably more items in Scarlet Monastery than any of the other dungeons, and that includes Alderman. You can see I chunked them all together into the diamonds area, and there's, what's there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different items which I need to collect. Now, I've run Scarlet Monastery dozens, hundreds of times, and all of these have eluded me. I don't think there's any of those items on there I've picked up and been sold before I've started this series, so they are quite elusive. Now, Scarlet Monastery itself is a fairly straightforward dungeon. I'll show you where we are at the moment. We're just outside Scarlet Monastery, so if I bring out the map, here's Scarlet Monastery. So we're in Eastern Kingdoms, pretty much like the northern tip, just above Undercity. So again, if you're Horde, the easiest way to get up here is probably go to Orgrimmar and take the portal to Undercity and then just come up. If you're Alliance, again, it's probably going to be a case of Stormwind or Ironforge and make your way up if you haven't unlocked a flight path already. And then Scarlet Monastery, in terms of where it is in this zone, it's just up here in like the top right hand corner. And if I bring you into the actual game itself, there it is. There's Scarlet Monastery. I'm logged on back with one of my druids again. What you need to do is come around this side, and then you've got a couple of doors on both sides of this tower over here. You've got a number of mobs outside, which do actually drop the loot, which is inside the dungeon as well, just for your own awareness. You can actually go and kill these guys, and there's mobs all the way around here as well. If you want to go and kill them, I don't tend to bother, but you can do if you really want to. I mean, if you come through these doors, you then got a staircase just here, which you run through. You then get the tooltip saying that you're in Scarlet Monastery. Once you entered this grand vestibule, you then got another load of mobs inside here as well, which you can kill, which I will do. There's a few in there, there's a few down there, so let's go kill some of these mobs. Again, I believe these guys drop the same loot for what you can get inside the dungeon as well. On this occasion, I haven't picked up anything. There's a couple of guys inside there as well. Come and loot these. And then you're basically going to be making your way around here. So we did actually get a green item there. Battleforge, leg guards of the Aurora. It says I'm still in combat, so I can't see how much that's worth. Oh, and another green item as well. So 850 and 800 on. So both of them really aren't really worth a great deal. But you come through to the rear end of this the grand vestibule. You've got two portals. One of which will take you into Scarlet Halls, which is this one on the right hand side, and the one on the left hand side, which is one I'm going to be using, is the one that takes you into Scarlet Monastery. So that's it. So you just come up the stairs up here, come into this grand vestibule, and this is where you need to kind of go. So let's just go inside the dungeon to begin with. Then I can boot up, amend my all the things, so we can see what I actually need from here. Okay, and let's show all the collected things as well, so you can see exactly what you get inside this dungeon. So you can see there's a lot of zone drops. I'm not sure there's any other dungeon which has got so many specific zone drops in it. And you can see I've probably got, I don't know, 40 to 50% of them. Now there is a lot of pieces in here, and some of these have got some really, really good prices. So like the Archon chest piece, which I haven't collected, none on my realm at the moment. This is on Taran Mill. Currently a region market value of 200,000. The Beguiler robes, again, I haven't collected them. Region market value of 140,000. Some of the ones I have got, let's have a look at it, like this one here, Cobalt Crusher, region market value of 100,000. I've already picked up one up. Dream Slayer, it's got 230,000. You got this one here, Fight Club, which is got region market value average of 1 million. None on my realm at the moment, but that shares its appearances with some other items. So if you go in here and you tick or untick show collected things, it might not pop up, but it is actually worth quite a good chunk of cash. Some of the other ones I need to get, like the Ruthless Shiv, 500,000. Scarlet Belt is 100,000 region market value average. So you can see some of these do have quite a bit of value to them. Swamp Chill Fetish, again 100,000, extinct on my realm at the moment. So there's a lot of zone specific items in here. It's worth coming to. It's a very, very short dungeon. So let's untick show collected things so you can see what I actually do need from this. And this is what we need. Again, there's a couple of BOP. Are these both cloth, are they? Cloth, oh, and mail. So I need to go and collect them at some other point. I'm not interested in those at the moment. The ones I'm interested in are the zone specific ones. Let's just shorten that up to those items there. Let's click OK on that. Okay, so the dungeon itself is incredibly straightforward. This is one of the dungeons that you can get round on any class and you can be finished in a few minutes. So when you enter through the portal, you enter a little area called the Forlorn Cloister, and you have some packs of mobs over here, and over on this side as well. So the way I run it is I just come across, hit them, and you've got these pile of corpses. In fact, let's bring up a loot appraiser. Let's start a new session. We'll ignore that bow I've just picked up. You have these pile of corpses which you do need to destroy as well, because if you don't, you end up with just zombies running after it for the whole dungeon. So go and take those two on the left out. I run back into the centre. Again, just looting as I go through. Again, I'm just going to do this very slowly. You got these Scarlet Flamethrower guys who are killing the zombies. You kill them as well. And then go and do this pack on the right hand side. Then back into the centre. You've got this one here. I think it's the last one I need to do. And then once you've got past all those sort of piles of zombies, you've got these sort of ghost guys over here. So if you hit one of them or kill one of them, the rest of them, these spirits, come over towards you. So you go and kill them. You have the first boss. So you go and kill him. And then you have another group of these frenzied spirits. So go and kill them. So that's that first area done. Once you've done that, and once you've killed the boss, this little door opens over here. So you run through this bit. You've got a couple of Scarlet Judicators. This pack here is actually an aggressive pack, so you can go and kill these guys as well. And then you come through into the Chapel Gardens. Again, there's a few ways to run this. I'll show you the way that I do it. I kind of run through to this pack, first pack on the left, kill them, then I run through to these couple of guys hitting the target dummies, kill them. I then run back over this way. You got 3 guys over here, so I'll just go and kill these, and then I'll go and kill this pack over here. Hit him, and you got another pack here. So when I kill these, I should be able to get the loot from one on the left. Now what you do get is, especially this wandering one around here, when you run through, like this one who's just, I nearly missed him. Sometimes you might not see one of the wandering ones, or it might not be on your path at the time, especially like, you start the dungeon, maybe gone for a small break, he might not be where you think he's going to be. Normally I won't lose too much sleep. If one of them's not immediately in your path, just skip it. You don't need to kill every single mob in the dungeon. So if he's out of your way, don't bother chasing them down. Okay, so you have the second boss over here, which is this guy. You can't go through to the next room until he's dead. So let's go and kill this pack here. And if you keep your eyes on these doors over there. Once I hit him, the doors open. And then we can move through to the next room. Okay, so we now leave Chapel Gardens. We now enter... I don't know what this room is. It's still classed as Chapel Gardens. You have these Scarlet Purifiers. So I run around, effectively do a clockwise loop. Kill this pack in here. You have a couple of guys just round here on the left hand side. Again, there's a wandering one around here. Aggro this pack a bit too early. Let's go kill these guys before they get involved. Now you have the final boss who's standing here. I don't bother killing him. It's just, again, it's one of these sort of mechanics. It just takes a little bit more time, so I don't really bother with that. There is a big pack over here, these Scarlet sort of initiates, which I go and kill. I then run back again, going clockwise, kill these couple of guys there. At this stage I would normally go and kill this pack who I accidentally aggroed, and then I leave this building back into the Chapel Gardens. You have 2 or 3 guys sitting on the wall, so I go and kill these. You have a couple of guys over here, so go and kill them. Now sometimes you have a wandering one who might be down here at the time. If he is, kill him and loot him. He's right down the other end, so I'm not going to bother with him for now. Come back down here, kill these 3 guys. Again, kind of following like a clockwise loop, heading back out the way which I came in. And that's it. So that's all the mobs I'm going to kill in this dungeon. At this stage, I'll hook a left again, zigzag my way back out. This is the first area of the Forlorn Cloister, which is where I came in, and that was that first boss, where there where all these piles of corpses are, and that's it. Now what you can do in this area is you can actually mount up. So if you want to try and get rid of any trash, any stuff you picked up which you've annotated as scrap, this is a place to do it just before you leave a dungeon, because as soon as you leave a dungeon you go back into that little hallway area where you then can't mount back up again unless you go right out of Scarlet Monastery. So the easiest way of doing it is you want to get rid of any stuff, get rid of your stuff here before you leave the instance, and then obviously you can come back in again. So at this stage, if I was going to get rid of some stuff, which I'm not going to do at this stage, you then can just jump back out the instance again. That takes you back into the grand vestibule where I killed all those little mobs, and then I'm back out again. So that run, which I did incredibly slowly, took 5 minutes. Again, if you're going to do this on any class, you're going to be flying through this very, very quickly. For this dungeon itself, any class really can be worked on this. The dungeon is so small that you can just go in, do a loop, back out again. It's not one of the linear dungeons where you finish right at the far end, where you ideally want like a druid or a monk to sort of teleport out and then back in again. So anyone can do this. It's got some decent loot in there, so it's something which I'd thoroughly recommend. So what I'm going to do now, that's the first run done. I'm going to do this 9 more times. Again, if there's any sort of good loot in the dungeon, I'll show you the highlights of it, and if not, I'll see at the end and show you what I picked up in my bags. Okay, so that's the first, well, I say reasonable, that's the first anything item I picked up so far in this dungeon, the Sunblaze Coif. As you see on the screen, it comes up with a value of 46,000. Let's have a look at a bit more detail. So it's got region market value average of 46,800. There's 6 on my auction house at the moment going for just under 30,000, with a region sale average of just under 3,000. So there's a bit of a difference there. You can see I've actually sold one as well for 2,300. What's that, about 2.5 months ago? It is one of the items I've already picked up already. I've collected the appearance of. It does share its appearance with a number of other items, including some green items as well, so perhaps it's not as desirable as some of the others. But so far, and this is run number 8, this is the only thing I've picked up of any note so far. So hopefully, between now and the bag sort of inspection, I might pick up something else. But yeah, so far, slim picking so far in this dungeon. Okay, so that's the, let me just kill these mobs here. So that's the second blue I picked up. This is the next run, so this is run number 9, and this is a butcher. In fact, you can see on the screen the Sunblaze Coif I've just picked up. There's only like 3 items previously, so yeah, you can see how sort of slim pickings it's been. So let's have a look at the butcher. So the butcher is a one-handed sword. It's got a region market value average of 30,000. There's one of my auction houses at the moment going for 49,000. Again, unfortunately, it's one of the items I've already picked up, so it's not on my loot deck, as I've already got the appearance of. The good news is it has a unique appearance, though, so let's have a quick look at that. So here's a butcher. Yeah, I can't say it's something that really rocks my world, but it does look like some form of big sort of machete butcher's knife. So again, if you're going for a very sort of, I don't know, sort of a brutal, sort of rough looking class which can use a one-handed sword, maybe a warrior or something like that, it might sort of be something that interests you. But again, for me, I've already got it, so it's not that good, but I can look to try and sell it. It's got region sale average of 0.01, which is as low as you can possibly get, but you never know. I'll throw it on the auction house and see if we get any gold for it. So got this run and one more after that, and then we are done. Okay, so that brings the 10 runs to a close. Let's have a look and see what I've managed to pick up. As you've seen in the highlights, which you'll have just seen a few seconds ago, there's been only 2 blues picked up, or zone-specific drops so far in this instance. The first one was the Sunblaze Coif, which is 46,000 region market value average, and the second one is the Butcher, which is 30,000 region market value average, but on my server that's actually going for more expensive than the Sunblaze Coif, and it had a unique appearance. So but I'm probably more excited by this one than I have by the Sunblaze Coif itself. In terms of what else I've managed to pick up, there's a couple of lock boxes. That's all I picked up in terms of lock boxes. 4 greens which I've kept, none of which are really that spectacular. You can see if I just hover on these, they're all worth roughly around that the 3,000 to 5,000 gold mark. So again, probably none of those, and I've collected the appearances of all of these items. I don't think any of them will probably make my auction house cut, but just to give you an idea of what the greens are like in the dungeon. Now you are going to pick up dozens of very, very cheap greens, you know, around the 100 to 1,000 gold mark. Again, depending on what your auction house looks like, how much time and effort you want to use or put into trying to sell some of those things, depends on whether you want to try and sell them and make any money from them. Overall, I made, or the loot appraiser suggests that I looted 130,000 gold's worth of greens and above from this dungeon. But you can see by looking at the greens I've actually kept, of which none of them is going to make my auction house, but actually you're going to be looking more at 2 items. So the Sunblaze Coif, let's say I get 20,000, 15,000 for that, and the Butcher, let's say 20 to 25,000 perhaps for that. So roughly I'm looking at maybe 40 to 50,000 in terms of what I've picked up from this dungeon. I've also picked up a couple of patterns which I've just kept. Again, I've collected both of these, but just to show you what patterns I've picked up in case you're looking for specifically for any patterns. The Goblin Landmine schematic and the Golden Iron Destroyer plan as well. Again, neither of those are going to make my cut, but it does mean that there are some little sort of cheaper patterns you can pick up from this. So my final thoughts on this dungeon. This is a dungeon which I have spells where I can just sit there and farm this, you know, for days, because you don't need to give it a lot of thought. It's a very simple dungeon. It's very easy to then do your items. This took me 41 minutes to go and do all of those runs. The first run being 5-6 minutes, having a break in between, pausing a video to talk about the pickups I've got. So you're really looking at somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes maximum to do all 10 runs. So, you know, it's very, very quick. You are going to pick up a lot of items from there. You are going to pick up, if you're new to the transmog gaming or you're new to all the things and you're looking to collect appearances, you are going to get a lot of bits and pieces in here. You can kind of just see just in the items up here. You know, the Butcher I picked up on run number 9, so I've picked up another 5 or 6 items since then. So it is a dungeon which I would recommend you do, because it is something you can literally pay minimal attention to and run around in a circle and pick up all the items and be back out again. But from my experience, getting some of these bigger items has been very, very tricky. You know, if I go into Sunken Temple, you know, I'd feel fairly confident going to Sunken Temple once every 20 runs. I'm going to at least pick up something which is going to be worth a good chunk of cash. Now, I have picked up 2 blue items, which are pretty decent, but there's a lot of cheaper blue items in there, so I could have picked up those rather than these more expensive ones. But getting these, you know, the sort of the super items, so to speak, in here has proven to be, you know, quite difficult so far. Like the Tainted Pierce, you know, on my server for 1.6 million. You know, chance would be a fine thing. So, would I recommend this dungeon? I would. If you're going to hit, there's a good chance you're going to hit big with one of those items over there. For me personally, because there's so many items I still need to pick up from this dungeon, I'm going to be running this hundreds of times, I dare say, trying to pick some of these items up. So it's going to be in this series a video that I'm going to come to plenty times. Yeah, so that's it really. 2 items picked up from it, neither I need. That's the way it goes. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.